In our last video, we looked at day count conventions, basically how much interest you get paid once the dates are fixed. Today, we're looking at the next small detail that impacts interest payments, and that's what happens when a payment date falls on a weekend or a bank holiday. And to keep it consistent, let's reuse this exact same example from video number 4. We invested from the 13th of July 2023 to the 13th of July 2024, which is a clean 1-year period. Except there's one issue, and that is that the 13th of July 2024 was a Saturday. So in most parts of the world, that's not a business day, meaning we can't settle a payment on that day. So we need to adjust the date, and conceptually, there are two obvious choices. We can either pay on the following business day, which would be Monday, July 15th, or we could pay on the preceding business day, which would be Friday, July 12th. And if the two sides haven't agreed this up front, you can really end up with a mismatch. One side thinks that cash moves on Monday. The other thinks it moves on Friday. And that's exactly where role conventions come in. But why do we need a rule? Why not just agree on a case-by-case basis? That's because in fixed income markets, many instruments don't have just one payment date. A bond might pay semi-annually, a floating rate might pay quarterly, and a 30-year interest rate swap? Well, that can mean 120 different payment dates if quarterly payments have been agreed. No, nobody wants to check 120 dates manually to see whether they land on a Saturday. So instead, market participants agree something much better. A set of rules that automatically tells both sides what to do if a payment date is not a business day. Those rules are called role conventions, or sometimes business day conventions. And the first role convention you'll often run into is unadjusted following. This means if the payment date lands on a weekend or holiday, we push the payment to the next business day. So in our example, Saturday 13th becomes Monday 15th. But, and this is the key part, the interest period itself is not adjusted. So the date you pay changes, but the accrual period stays exactly as originally scheduled. This is basically pay later, but don't touch the interest period. Next comes adjusted following. It sounds similar at first. If the payment day isn't a business day, pay on the next business day. So again, Saturday 13th becomes Monday 15th. But here, the interest period is adjusted as well, meaning interest accrues up to that later date. So this version is pay later and also accrue interest up to the later payment date. And the third one, which is probably the one you'll see most often in practice, is modified following. This one is the market really trying to be practical. You pay on the following business day unless doing that pushes you into the next calendar month. If it would push you into the next month, then instead you pay on the preceding business day. And in both cases, the interest period is properly adjusted. So the logic here is following unless it breaks the months. And that's exactly why modified following is so common. You keep the next business day rule, but you avoid pushing payments into the next month, which can cause messy month-end reporting and accounting. And there's one extra piece of realism that shows up all the time once you move beyond short-dated trades. Payment schedules are typically anchored to the maturity date, not the trade date. So imagine your trade starts on 13th of July 2023, but the maturity date is 30th of July in 2063, and annual interest rates payments have been agreed. In many products, that means the payment schedule is anchored to the 30th of July. So the first payment day might be 30th of July 2024. That means your first interest period might not be exactly 1 year. Could be slightly longer, or slightly shorter. And those are called stub periods, first long stub or first short stub. Completely normal, just part of real-world cash flow scheduling. So the key takeaway from today is simple. In markets, payment dates will hit weekends and holidays. And we don't negotiate that every time. Instead, we agree on role conventions upfront. And they tell you exactly how to shift the payment date and whether the interest period gets adjusted as well. And yes, it's a relative small technical detail, but it directly changes cash timing and sometimes even cash amounts. Next week, we'll look at another deceptively simple question: simple versus compound interest. Why does payment frequency matter?